Hello everyone and welcome to Hearts of Iron 3. This is going to be my new strategy playthrough. Probably last anywhere from 20-30 videos maybe. I'm going to try and keep them to 30 to 40 minutes instead of the hour that I've been doing some other videos and some other series. This is an older game. Not sure how many people are familiar with this. This is the predecessor to Hearts of Iron 4. This one came out in 2009, has had plenty of DLC added to it, of which I have all the major DLC, Semper, For the Motherland, and Their Finest Hour. This one, in my opinion, and a lot of other gamers' opinions, this is the, I don't know, I guess we would call this the king of grand strategy. I believe it is. It's hardcore. It has a high learning curve, but really once you get into it, it did take me a while to learn it. I've been playing this for years and years and years. But once you get into it and learn it, it is pretty addicting, and you want to keep playing it over and over. I probably have close to 500 hours in this game. Why this one over Hearts of Iron 4? Well, Hearts of Iron 4 kind of has a reputation as being kind of a dumbed-down version of Hearts of Iron 3. I don't know if that's quite deserving, but that's kind of its reputation among those who like Hearts of Iron 3. But mostly, though, it seems to me more like a World War II sandbox playground instead of a real World War II simulator. Now, that's fine if you like that kind of thing, but it doesn't really appeal to me. I'm more into the hardcore, real World War II simulator, which I find in Hearts of Iron 3. This is probably the best tactical World War II simulator ever made, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people. You can organize your units any way you want, command every regiment. I mean, it's very granular. It's also a decent strategy simulator, but it has some flaws. It's not the sandbox simulator that Hearts of Iron 4 is. It does have some rails that it wants you to follow in its decisions and what you do for each nation, and it does have a little weird behavior if you go off those rails a bit. The economy is a bit light in this game. The AI for automated units is not good at all. I do not recommend it. I've seen lots of playthroughs where people will automate the actual fighting, but I think it's horrible. Personally, I would much rather do it myself. So all of the fighting in this game will be done manually. There's going to be no AI fighting. Some don't like the supply rules of this game. Some people find it confusing, but honestly, I think they just don't. The people who say that don't understand how supply works in this game. It took me a while to learn it. It is complex, but once you get it, it makes sense. Also, some say that the game is just clicking on a few sliders during peace. But again, I think those comments are from people who don't understand the game and don't want to know how to understand it or don't want to learn it. Anyway, that's the explanation for what we're doing here and why I picked this game and why I like it so much. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's go single player. Now, I'm going to play... I've only played Germany maybe once. We're going to play... I played all the... I played the United Kingdom. I played France. I played the US. I played Japan. I played the Soviet Union many times. They're actually... they're one of the easiest countries to play, the Soviet Union, actually, against the AI. Germany cannot beat you if you play correctly. Actually, with most countries, it's kind of that way. The AI can be challenging, but if you learn to play the game and play it right, you can beat the AI most of the time. So we're going to do the 1936 Road to War scenario, and we are going to play as Germany. Now, I do have I'm going to try a strategy in this playthrough. Something that most people do not do. And that is, I'm going to ignore the Soviet Union. We're not going to go to war with the Soviet Union. We're going to win the game without even touching, without even bothering, without even looking the Soviets' way. We're going to go after the West for the most part, and the Middle East, and that's how we're going to win. We're going to stay away from the Soviet Union. I'm going to try and get this done by... Let's try the summer of 1941. That's when we're going to try and win the game by. And I think it can be done. we're probably not going to get into conflict until 1938-39. So I got 2 years to do all this. But it can be done. We're going to... Oops. Let's do the victory. And now we're going to keep the difficulty on normal, because if you just go hard and very hard, it's not really improving the AI. It just gives you... It just gives the AI more buffs and you more debuffs. And that's not really changing the difficulty. That's more cheating to me. So we're going to leave it at normal. Victory conditions, let's see. Again, we're not going to... Let's just uncheck these. We're not going to do Barbarossa. There's no need to, I don't think. I've never done this before. I think you can win without it. So we're going to try that out. It just depends on if you can meet all your victory conditions. And you don't even have to get all your victory conditions to win. It's basically based off of getting as many of these victory conditions as you pick, but it's mostly based on victory points. You get various victory points for provinces and countries that you control. So let's do Tannenbaum, which is the invasion of Switzerland. We're also going to do Sea Lion, which is the invasion of Britain. Italy is an Axis member. Spain, we're going to go after. We're going to skip Turkey. Sweden, we want. Portugal. Vichy France, I would do that, but that's kind of... That's kind of cheesy. I mean, you can conquer France and then create Vichy France and then immediately go and declare war on Vichy France and conquer them. And that's an easy, cheap victory condition we're not going to do. We're going to skip anything about the Soviets. London, Paris. We're going to go with the Suez Canal, so that means we're going to have to send troops down here, because typically the Italians only go so far down here. They don't go all the way down to the end of the Red Sea down here. So we're going to have to do that. Gibraltar we will control easily. Baghdad we're going to take because I think the Italians... They usually, from what I see, they can usually take Egypt and they can get to Iraq, and if they don't, we're going to help them. Malta's we're going to go for that. Romania we're not going to touch, and I'll tell you why in a bit. But let's go for Belgrade, Yugoslavia. Singapore, Japanese usually take that, but sometimes I don't, so we might have to help them. Batavia, Shanghai, Sydney, Port Moresby. Okay, so we need one more of these. The Japanese will probably take Batavia, but sometimes they don't. Shanghai, that one's kind of easy, because the Japanese will usually take that. Port Moresby would be a challenge. That would be interesting. What else can we do? Turkey, I could... The thing is, okay, I'm going to explain why we're not going to go after Romania and Turkey, because they border the Soviet Union. In this game, I'm not going to attack Poland. If I attack Poland and take it, then I have a border with the Soviets. I don't want a border with the Soviets, because I know from previous games, previous experience, the moment you invade the United Kingdom, the Soviets declare war on the Germans. It's stupid and it's silly, and it's one of those things that I don't like about this game, but it's built into the code. However, if you don't have a border with them, there's nothing they can do. The only risk in this is if the Soviets attack Poland early, and then I have a border with them. I'm hoping to get all this completed before they do that. That's the challenge. So, it's possible. Shanghai, Batavia would be more difficult, wouldn't it? Let's do that. And then if we have to go and help the Japanese, we will. So those are our victory conditions. Can we do it? Can we win without even involving the Soviets? Well, we're going to try. Let's go ahead and start the game. And by the way, I'm not using the music, the built-in music for Hearts of Iron 3, because I've heard it over and over and over and over, and I'm sick of it. So I'm using some other music that I found, and there will be links to it in the description. So first thing we're going to do is we need to gather all of our troops. So let's get, except for over here in Prussia, we can't get them because we don't have any transports. So let's get, do we have any troops? No, we don't. Okay. Let's get all of these, and we're going to have them strategic deploy back to Berlin so we can reorganize our forces here. Where is this? Oh, they're already in Berlin. Okay. And we need to do some research and mixed industry. Let's enact the mixed industry economy. Where's... Oh, here we go. All right, we can't do that yet because we can't afford it. No, where is it? Economy? Yeah. Which one is it? Yeah, mixed industry. Am I in the wrong? Oh, here we go. Mixed industry. We can't afford it for some reason, but we will be able to here in a few months. So let's do some research. Let's get some research going. There's some other things I have to plan for also. We're going to need some spies to lower national unity for a few countries. We're going to need some diplomacy, but not much. We start off with a little. Let's put espionage at, let's say, for now, 1. 1 gives us, because we don't need spies right away, but we'll need them later on. You can send spies to do several things. That gives us 0.15 spy a day. Diplomacy, we don't need a whole lot right now. Let's just do, say, a half. That'll give us 0.25 diplomatic influence each day. And you spend influence to, make trade agreements and send proposals to different nations. Officers, we already have max officers, 140%. So let's bring this, but we are going to be doing a lot of recruiting. Let's at least leave this, how much? Let's do 22 research. We don't really need a ton of research, to be honest. The Germans have enough research to get them through the game. In fact, by the end of the game, I usually don't really pay a lot of attention to research because I don't really need it. Okay. Officers, there we go. So we get a little espionage, a little diplomacy, some officers. This officer slider here controls the percentage of officers in your units. 140 is the max. You want to keep it as high as you can. Although I typically find my officer ratio around 110, 115 during the game because I'm recruiting so much. Okay, let's go through the technology here. We need 22 research. We're definitely going to... We want motorized infantry, so we do need to get the cavalry support up to, what is it, level 3? No, level... Not motorized. Let's see. No, I'm thinking of something else. Here it is, self-propelled, and we want medium tanks. This needs to be up to level 2. So these need to be researched. Militia. Let's start with the infantry techs. And then the armor techs. Now, I won't be doing a whole lot of medium tanks in this game. They're very expensive to upgrade. And you can ride light tanks through 1941 easy, no problem. As long as you keep them updated. The tech tree updated, no problem. I don't need armored cars. Not really. I don't really use anti-aircraft in my units. But I do use artillery and anti-tank weapons. Don't need rocket artillery. Infantry. Let's go back here. Am I missing something? We do need airborne. I can't do it yet. We need to get this up a little bit before. We will need plenty of those for Britain. And we will need plenty of air transports for air supply missions. I'm not going to do any of my naval. Probably very little. The only time I'll be doing the naval techs is when I don't have anything else to research. Let's do all the fighters. That's a little ahead of time. The bombers. Let's do basic medium fuel tank, basic bomb. Okay, fighters, we've got all of those. Industry, can I do these? Yes, I can. No, I can't. It says those are a little ahead of time. It's hard to find stuff in the beginning to research. Yep, those are a little ahead of time. Radar, decryption machine we can do. No, we can't. Okay. That little pop-up there says inefficient research. It's 2 years ahead of... basically, we're researching it ahead of time. Ahead of when it was historically done. So it takes longer to research. Let's go for some air. No, I don't need those either. Here we go. These are land doctrines. We're going to take all the... especially that one. All the old ones and get them up to... current levels. Now some of these I won't be using later, and some I will. How many is that? Okay, we got 22 of 22. There's got to be something else, though, that I can research. Okay, carrier light crew training. Well, let's go ahead and get the fleet carrier doctrine, because I do want to do a little basic light cruiser and destroyer crew training. And we'll only be using battle cruisers. We start with two, I believe, two battle cruisers, and one... there's one ship on the way. I don't remember what it was. We're going to take a look here in a sec. Let's see, naval... No, I don't really use naval bombers, and I don't use strategic... That's one part about this game that really kind of sucks, is strategic... strategic bombing is terrible. We'll get in that later in the game. Fighter ground control is for radar impact. We will be needing radar later. It helps when we're invading Britain. Logistical strikes I don't tend to use. Don't really use naval pilots. Okay. Is there anything else I can research that is useful? I guess I could do some of these ship ones while we're at it. Like, I'll do these, since the one here is how easy it is to research. And these are all, if I can get my destroyers and cruisers up, that one's already up, to a modern tech level, that would be fine. Capital ships will do battle cruisers. We're not going to build anything larger than that. We don't need them, to be honest. I think that's it for now. So we are at... Okay, we're going to wait on that. Okay, let's produce. What are we going to produce? Okay, we have the Graf Spee, and I believe that is a heavy cruiser on the way. Let's take a look at our Navy. Our Navy is basically right here. This is pretty much it. And we do have a port over here, Königsberg. And battlecruiser, you know, that let me lower that audio just a little bit. I think that's a little much. Okay. Better. Battlecruiser, and now let's bring these over to Kiel. We're gonna have our Navy over here. For now. Our subs and what is this? Another, yeah, this is most of our fleet here. We're gonna bring them over here to Kiel. And let's get those. Let's do a little. Get those over there. We're gonna do a little. Start building things here in a sec. Okay. So we'll combine our subs, even though I'm not going to be using them. In fact, I think there's a sub in production. Yeah, I don't want that. Go away. I don't really need or use subs in this game. Well, for the Germans anyway, I don't. I know there's this whole U-boat campaign that they did, but we're not doing that. We don't really need to. So we got destroyers and a heavy cruiser on the way. So what I'm going to do here, what do we have here? Let's combine these two. We have 2 battle cruisers. We need another battle cruiser, that's it. Let's get a battle cruiser going. That's a 10 IC cost. And what else do we need? Then we have, what else on the way? A heavy cruiser and destroyer flotilla. So we're gonna have enough to make 3 fleets that all consist of 1 battle cruiser, 1 heavy cruiser, and I believe there was 1 heavy cruiser on the way, right? Yep, this one right here. So they'll have 1 battle sets, 1 battle cruiser each, 1 heavy cruiser, light cruiser, 1 light cruiser each, no, 2 light cruisers each. We have 4 destroyers, and we have 1 on the way, so we need 1 more, so each of them has 2 destroyers. So let's get another destroyer. Just 1. That's all we need. We do need some transports, but not right away. So it's, besides, I think transports only take 135 days. I just have to remember to not forget, remember to not forget those later. So what we need right away, a lot of, are infantry. And I might as well go ahead and start. I don't need to look on the map. I don't need to go through all these. Most of these units are reserve units. I'm going to stick them over here on the Eastern Front. And they're going to be used to garrison the Polish border and to go against Czechoslovakia when they become allies, which they will. We're going to buy, basically, the way we're going to ignore the Soviets is by, here's another thing, we want to avoid the Poles becoming allies. We want to avoid them going into the allies, because once they go into the allies, we're going to have to attack them. Once we have to attack them, we'll have a border for the Soviets. So one thing we need to do right away, which I almost forgot, we need to influence Poland so that they don't become part of the Allies. Where are they now? They're right here. They're already drifting towards the Axis. Well, we want to influence them. Another nation we want to influence from the very beginning is the United States. We would rather they not join the Allies. Well, at least for as long as possible. So we're going to influence them as well. Those 2 nations, we do not want them to join the Allies, especially Poland. Poland's critical. If we can keep them neutral for as long as possible, then we're good with the Soviets. We don't have a shared common border, so they won't be able to attack us. They don't really have a navy of anything to. They don't really have a navy much to matter. Now, the way we stay, and the other way we keep the Poles from becoming allies is we do not take Czechoslovakia. Now, that's a national decision coming up. Let's see. I don't think. Here we go. Now, we're going to take Austria, but it's not here. But there's a national decision where we occupy the Sudetenland, and then we take all of Czechoslovakia. Once we do that, then the Poles become allies. We do not want that to happen. So we're going to ignore those decisions for Czechoslovakia. So we're going to do this. We're basically playing Germany the way they should have in real life. They should have just ignored the Soviets, really. And they could have won World War II if they'd done that. We're going to show you how. At least we're going to try. Okay. So, where were we? What's next? We were going to... Oh, right. Produce. Now, again, I said most of these troops, they are reserve troops. It's a reserve unit, meaning that they are not fully manned. They're about half power. Regiments are about 3,000 men. They're at half power until I... where is it? Is it policy? Yeah, until I mobilize. I don't want to do that until I'm at war. So we're going to stick them over here, and they're going to stay here and guard the Polish border just in case. And then later they're going to be used to destroy the Czechs. But so we have to produce a new army, and this is going to be the Western Front Army, and we need to get started immediately. We're going to need 2 full armies to go against France. In my infantry divisions, typically I have some anti-tank. Per corps, I have 1 division with anti-tank per corps, and the rest are artillery. So, and then I usually put in, let's see, 5 divisions. Let's see. Usually have 4 divisions per corps. 1 has anti-tank, the other 3 have artillery. So let's make 2 of these for now. And then we'll need 6 artillery. So that'd be 8. 4 in each corps. Each corps has 1 division with anti-tank, and then 3 with artillery. That's just how I do it. Okay, so we need 116 for now. Is this going to work? Okay, we have to... Okay, good. We can put this down to 12. We got to watch consumer goods, because if consumer goods, you have to give their people some goods, or they'll start. There's some unrest. So if this goes below need, then this unrest will tick up. And sometimes the game, even though you set this, sometimes it will set it low. It does this. I like to leave it on manual control, which means I have to babysit these, but it's better than using, say, prioritized production, because that's even worse. They just don't work very well. So I'll be switching back to this in the game quite often. This is at 12.86, but I'm going to keep it at, because sometimes this will creep up, and it creeps up. The more military you have on the field, the more consumer goods creeps up. So I don't want to leave this locked. Otherwise, if I leave it locked and don't pay attention to it, pretty soon I find that I have unrest or dissent high, and I don't want that. So I like to keep a watch on this. Let's just keep it at 13 for now. Lock it there. Okay, so we could probably build... Actually, we better not, because our supply situation in the beginning, as the Germans, is a little tenuous in the first couple years, because I want to build a bunch of things, but at the cost of stockpiling supplies. And sometimes you can run out if you're not careful. See, we're losing 34 a day. We've got to be careful. So for now, we'll just build those 2 cores. And let's go ahead and set this on max speed. Turkey is aligning. See, I don't really pay attention to these that much, even though I like to stop the game with these announcements, because they switch alignments. Turkey will align themselves with the Comintern, the Soviets, and then they'll stop, and then they'll switch and go to the Allies, and then they'll stop and switch back to the Comintern. Happens a lot. South Africa. Now, they're going to be one of the first nations to join the Allies. This is Switzerland aligning themselves with the Axis. Oh, I need to pay attention to... I like to do my own trading as well. I don't like to automate it, because I need to sell energy. I got a shit ton of energy, and the Germans will always have this maxed out. I want to sell it as often as I can to get money to buy other stuff that I'll need. So we're going to sell that. Soviets want to give me lots of rare materials for money. Now, I will buy a few rare materials, but I never run out, generally. I have to watch, as the Germans, I have to watch steel. I need contracts for steel, especially early. Now, later in the game, it won't matter much. Let's go ahead and ask the Soviets for steel. Trade agreement. Let's see if we can buy some steel. Well, right now they don't want to, so we'll just wait. We'll wait. Okay, what is this? Italy wants... Okay, rare material. Energy. Bulgaria wants energy. Definitely sell that. Sweden is aligning with the Axis. Cool. And, okay, the UK was influencing South Africa. Canada is going to be another nation that joins the Allies early. Italy wants to sell us rare materials. Rare minerals. Hungary wants Energy, definitely sell that. Okay, all of our units are here. Now I'm going to wait and do... I'm not going to do my order of battle. Basically, this is where I can reorganize these units in however I want. Like I can select these, I don't know, 3. And I can't really merge them. I can reorganize them and put these here however I want to do that. And pick my leaders. I'm going to do that later. I don't need to do this now. In fact, I don't have to have troops on my border right now. I'm not at war. I don't really care. I can't move these from over here from Prussia, so they're going to stay there. I'm going to do the order of battle for these units before the next episode. So we're just going to leave them here for now. Right now we're just going to try and get through as many years as we can while we're building troops. We're going to be monitoring our trades and building troops. That's what we're doing right now. What does the US want? They want to sell us rare minerals too. Italy, we'll take the small ones. See, that one's 8 rare minerals for 0.84 money. We're making 5 every day. We can afford that. We'll take it. Let's see if the Soviets will sell us some steel yet. They still won't. Okay, we'll wait. Who else has... Let's look at all powers. And who has a surplus of steel? The US might, although they're typically pretty stingy on trading with the Germans. We're going to try it. You got to start off small. See, they won't do it either. Usually I can get a trade deal by now. But not yet. Not this time, it looks like. France? I wonder if they'll sell us some. They won't either. Interesting. Chile? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing this all wrong. Oops. Let's go back up to the USA. Trade agreement. We want to buy. There we go. Let's start off small with the US and see if they'll... Nope, they didn't like that. You got to work on them. You got to go really small with them. Now, every time I send... we're going to need more... Ooh, I forgot one thing. We need... Okay, are we influencing? Are we still influencing? I don't know if we're influencing anymore because I didn't assign more points to diplomacy. No, we're not. So let's try that again. Let's we're gonna need here. Let's try that again. Sorry, it's been a little long. It's been a while since I played this last. So let's see. It was Poland, right? Poland, influence nation, yes, and US. I can't do it because I asked. Okay, see, I already have a diplomat en route, and that was for the offer to buy steel. So once you influence nation, you have to go over to tech and then see it says we need. We're spending 1 to influence other countries, so we need to up that. And we're taking points out of research to do that. We're going to need to up that one more time when we influence the U.S. When we start influencing the U.S. Okay, let's see if we're... It should say we're influencing... Yep, Germany's influencing them. And they're drifting towards the Axis. That won't hold, but it'll delay them from joining the Allies for as long as possible. In fact, they may not ever join the Allies. Finland wants... It wants to sell us some rare materials. We're not going to do that. How much are they asking, though? 0.32? Yeah, well, we can do that. Okay, U.S. Diplomacy. U.S. We still can't until the 25th of February. Okay, a couple days. Italy wants to sell... Oh, they want energy. Give it to them. Metal. Yeah, we need metal, so let's go ahead and give them money for that. We can afford it. Our supplies are actually doing pretty good. I'm surprised. Hungry. They want energy. Take all you want. We got tons of it. Soviets usually want to sell their rare materials. Let's try... Was it the 25th yet? Oh yeah, it's way past. Let's go back to the United States and then start influencing them again. Yeah, well, okay. I'm gonna get the 3 points required. Just... And we're gonna need a little bit more on top of that to gain diplomatic influence for sending off requests. So let's just go ahead and go up to 4 for now. Lock it in there. Yeah, we do have the... There we go. Influence nation. Accept. Okay. What's this? Canada is aligning themselves to the Allies. Soviet Union still wants to sell. They got a bunch of rare materials they want to sell, and we just don't want to buy any of them. Okay, can we finally get... we can get 3-year draft. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and get that. Now, the 3-year draft gives us a manpower modifier plus 25%, and officer recruitment is up, and reserve penalty impact is less. So I'm going to take that. Definitely. And can we get the mixed industry? Yes. Industry. Mixed industry gives us better supply throughput, more supplies, and it removes the industrial capacity efficiency for production. So that'll give us, that should give us some more. We have 144, 201. Yeah, so now we got more industrial capacity. So let's see what other stuff we can build. Because our supplies look really good, but I don't, oops, see, our consumer goods needs went way up. So we got to make sure that we match that. Let's take a little bit off of that. Now we do need upgrades, but not at the cost of running out of supplies. So let's do that. Let's meet our supply need. We'll eventually get the upgrades done. That looks pretty good, and we probably don't want to spend money on anything else. What is coming? April 13th. So in a month, our first couple of cores will finish. We do have the Graf Spee, the heavy cruiser, and the destroyer are coming. That will free up 10 industrial capacity. This is looking pretty good. Let's keep going. Let's make sure. Okay, it says we are spending... How much do we need, though? I think if we go below 4, it's not going to like it, right? Yeah. So we'll stay at 4. Okay. Italy has already puppeted Ethiopia. Let's take a look down here. Here we go. Now, there will be a big battle down here. The British will probably come in and try and take it from the Italians. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We'll see. I've actually seen the French come and conquer Ethiopia before. We'll see what happens. Oh, here we go. We have the Graf Spee is ready to go. Let's go ahead and just sit it. And let's put it in that group there, and we'll deal with them later. We're not going to organize our navy anytime soon. We won't need them really until we start doing invasions of Denmark, and that's not going to be for probably several years. We have France to deal with first. So, okay, let's see. Do we have enough to do another core? I don't. No, we don't. Maybe one core? Let's see. Anti-tank. We need one of those. And then 3 artillery. We could probably swing it. Let's do it. It's going to be tough. But we have plenty of supply, so hopefully that'll hold. And I think I'm going to end the first episode here. It is 19th of March, 1936. So we've run about a couple months, 2.5 months or so. And we are basically building 2 armies to go against the French. We're going to put them down here. Not the Maginot Line. We're going to put a maintenance, kind of a small forces in here, and we're going to stack our 2 armies here and smash through, just like the Germans did in what they really did in history. So when we come back, we'll continue doing what we're doing. We'll continue just running through the years and building up our forces, and then maintaining our trades. So that's what we'll do when we get back. Thanks for watching the very first episode of this playthrough. Hope to see you again. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.